So you heard me say that you can pay back your loan at any point or a portion of your loan. You as an individual have a debt, and at any point you can come back and pay back some of your debt if you want. But these stable coins end up all over the place. They end up on dexes. They end up in pools here and pools there, and protocols scoop them up, and they're all over the place. So each of them has to still be able to pay back that debt. So essentially anybody can take a stable coin and pay back some debt. So if RHMax has, a debt position, and I've got 10 stable coins in my possession, and I wanted to pay back, I wanted to do what's called a redemption. I click a button, I deposit 10 PXDC, which burned themselves out of existence. And if he happens to be the lowest collateralized vault, it's going to pay back $10 worth of his debt, and it's going to give me $10 worth of his PulseX. It's a wash. Okay. In normal circumstances, it's a complete wash. He had $10 of his debt paid off. And remember, he already has those stable coins. So if he chose to, he could just go buy the PulseX back. He's in the exact same position he started. The action of doing a redemption actually raises the collateral health of the vault that had the redemption done against them. It's really cool math. If you pay the portion and you remove the same portion from the collateral, you run the math, it's like, oh, it actually increases the collateral health. So it's good for the ecosystem. It's always driving the health a little bit healthier for those lower guys, because redemptions always happen from the lowest vault up. All right. Now, the reason that redemptions are necessary and will happen, but they're not necessarily something to always be scared of. There are risks involved, but is because each stable coin is essentially guaranteed. Just like if you have USDC, you hope that it's guaranteed that if you send that to Coinbase, they're going to give you $1 worth of fiat. If you have $1 worth of DAI, and for whatever reason it's trading weird on a DEX, you're guaranteed in Maker that the Maker protocol is going to give you $1 worth of ETH for it. And the same with this. If you have one PXDC, if funky things are happening on a DEX because people are trading, stuff around a lot, you can come back into the protocol, and the protocol promises, enforced in code, that it's going to give you $1 worth of PulseX for that one PXDC. And it burns that PXDC, and it gives you $1 for the PulseX from the lowest collateralized vaults. That keeps the peg of the stablecoin. That's one of the mechanisms that keeps the peg, because there's always a guaranteed ARB. When people buy and sell tokens on an exchange, a decentralized exchange, they go up and down in value because the ratios change. The DEX doesn't know the difference between a stable coin and a meme coin or of hacks or this or that. All it knows is these contract numbers, there's this quantity of them, and this other contract number, there's this quantity of them. So if somebody is dumping some stable coins or something, the stable coins drop in value. They all do. USDC, it happens to it if somebody dumps a bunch. USDL, PXDC, it doesn't matter. If somebody dumps a bunch of them, they go down in value. And there has to be an incentive to buy it back up. There's two ways that the community can profit from buying that up. The first way is simply buy one stablecoin with another stablecoin, and bam, you just repeg the price. You use both to balance each other, and you're in profit. So an example is if your 100 DAI will swap and give you 105 PXDC, you might want to conduct that trade because you just made 5 stable coins like that, right? And you help peg the price back to $1. You use 2 different stable coins to balance each other out. Now we have a cool pool over in the PHUX protocol where it's a 5 stablecoin pool, and it's a balancer fork. And some of this happens naturally over there where they all balance each other out. But that is a great place to conduct trades and have extremely good order execution. The pool that was created is called the Oracle and Bridge pool. The gauges turn on next week. So not only will trading fees be earned, trading fees right now are netting 12.31% if you participate in this pool, with like no impermanent loss, by the way, because we're talking about stable coins. You're just parking your stable coins in here. And then unless one of these has a complete depeg or something, which you've seen with USDC over a weekend once, you've never seen it with LUSD. You've never seen it with USDL. You will not see it with PXDC. It's always redeemable. These things paired together, some would say, are pretty safe to be in this kind of pool. You're not really subject to impermanent loss like you are in other types of pools because they're all stable coins. So you can park stable coins in here and earn 12.31%. And next week when the gauge is turned on and the emission of the incentive PHUX token starts emitting, that number goes up. I don't know what it'll be. Could be 20%, could be 25%, could be just 13% total. I have no idea. Depends on how many people vote, how much participation, how much volume, how big your bag is of the VFUX tokens. But that number is going to go up. This pool has great order execution. You can swap quite a bit of one stable coin for the other, and this is designed to all start balancing each other out. This is the best place to trade. Now you can use, if you were to go to PulseX. PulseX is great as a Uniswap V2 fork, which is not the best necessarily place to conduct a trade for stable coins. It's great for other tokens, but the way the X times Y equals K formula works is not necessarily great for stablecoin pools. So everyone needs to be aware of that. So anyway, we talked about one way to peg a stablecoin value. Just buy it with the other stablecoins. The other way is to buy a cheap stablecoin that you see and go redeem it. So if you find cheap USDC, you can buy that and then go redeem it to Coinbase, right? You just made some money. Granted, you have to go back through TradeFi or whatever because you have cash now, but which sucks, right? Okay, so what happens with something like Earn Protocol? You can buy a cheap stablecoin. Let's say you find it, well, shoot, it's trading at just under 98 cents right now. Well, when redemptions are live, you'd be able to buy that. And now you have two options. You can, you can just simply use DAI or USDC or something like that and buy it and watch that value repeg itself and you profit. But the other way is simply just buy it with anything you want and then redeem the PXDC back into the protocol, and you know that you're going to get $1 for the PulseX for each one of them. So that guaranteed $1 for the PulseX is what entices people to say, that thing's 97.5 cents. I know I'm going to get $1 for it here in about 2 seconds when I click a redeem button. And you just made, 2.5%, right? Minus the fee. And that's it starts at 0.5% to do a redemption. It ratchets up to prevent like huge volumes of redemptions from happening.
I just want to talk about ask a question on redemptions too, because I mean that's a lot of people familiar with liquidations. That's what the whole focus has been with all the one protocols. Hey, don't get liquidated. Hey, don't get liquidated. And then redemptions have came into the limelight in the last few weeks or two. And what would you say to people who just if they just don't understand, they feel, even if they hear explain, okay, I get it. How do I not get redeemed? How do I avoid that? Is there something I can do?
If you have a vault and you don't understand what a redemption can do to you, from the bottom of my heart, my suggestion is do not have a vault. There are other ways to participate in the ecosystem. You can buy these stable coins on the open market and park them in the stability pool, go liquidity provide, earn rewards here and there, wherever you want. You can buy the Earn token on the open market if you choose and stake them in here for the fees. If redemptions scare you, it's most likely because you don't understand them. And if they still scare you or you don't understand them, just don't have a vault. There are other things that you can do in this protocol that are awesome. Right?
Let's say somebody kind of understands, but they're a little scared based on everything going on in the ecosystem. is there a best practice? Is there just a way? Is there anything they can do? Any knobs they can turn to be like, okay, I'm gonna at least be further down the line for redemptions. Like how can they avoid it? Is there any way to avoid it? Like you would, any similar ways such as liquidations?
Sort of, but not really. When everybody's doing,
we got to fill stadiums, Jesse. You got to help me fill stadiums here. We got
okay. So listen. You can redemptions will always occur from the least collateralized position up. And a redemption is not the same thing as a liquidation. A redemption is somebody paying your loan off for you and taking an equal proportion value of your PulseX, unless PulseX is pumping really, really hard at that moment in time. Okay. So you may have, $100 worth of your debt paid off, and you'll notice you're also short $100 worth of PulseX for your vault. It's literally a wash at that point in time. Now, if some big whale guy comes in and he's buying up PulseX with $14 million during that period of time, and the price has pumped, we'll say 60% or something, and you wish to have those PulseX, it pumped. Sorry, you're not going to buy the same quantity of coins back if that's what you wanted. But it could equally do the opposite because things go up and down, right? So you could be redeemed and you notice, I was redeemed some or all or whatever. And you go back and wow, I just bought my PulseX back with my stable coins I have, and I have more than I started with. That happens too. There's Hexacat over in the Liquid Loans chat. He's an admin. He gives some examples where he said he's been redeemed against several times because I guess he keeps himself pretty low collateral house compared to everyone else. And he said, but he always was able to buy back more PulseX than he started, or more Pulse rather than he started with.
But that's if PulseX is going up, that gets harder, right?
But if the thing is pumping really hard when you're redeemed, well, that risk is always there. You chose to take a loan. Okay, you're putting that value to work for you. You're making money in the stability pool, maybe. You're earning those earn tokens. You're staking those for the fees. You're earning a bunch of fees over here. Okay, you've got these positions where you're earning some value. And the risk that you're taking on is that if you're one of the lowest collateralized vaults, you could be redeemed against for like value. You could have your debt paid off proportional to some PulseX taken. But if the price is pumping, which how often is that going to happen? You could get into this situation where, now it's not even all your collateral. Look, you could have $1 million worth of collateral and have a $500 loan. Okay. The only thing that you would ever lose is that $500 for the PulseX was redeemed against. That's it. All of the rest of your collateral is always there. It's always still yours. Nobody gets to take that away. But you might have lost some opportunity cost, $100 or whatever, or lost if you were to try to buy that back because the price was pumping a lot, and you're like, oh, I want that. I really wanted that $500 worth of PulseX, but I can't get it back because the price went up a lot, or the price went down a lot, and you now have, buy $500 worth of PulseX, and you have more coins than you started with. But all that excess is always yours. People think that a liquidation, they lose their entire vault, which that's also not true.
I think the concern is just liquidations, redemptions in general. It's
redemptions.
You open up
redemptions. Let me correct what I said. With a liquidation, yes, you lose your entire vault because your vault is worth the same thing as what you've already minted, right? Plus 10%. With a redemption, people think that it's like the same thing as a liquid. It's not. You don't lose your entire vault. You literally had somebody pay off your debt, and proportional to that, you had some PulseX taken, and you can buy that position back.
Right.
There are some bots that are arbing a whole bunch of stuff on the chain constantly. Okay, they're arbing between PulseX and PHUX and 9mm and Liquid Loans, and when our redemptions come on, these bots will likely use Earn protocol as part of the source to do all of these arbitrage opportunities that are going across the chain. You'll never be able to stop that. And arbitrage is actually a good thing to balance out the prices of tokens to what they're supposed to be. But as users in this system, you have to be aware that if you're the lowest collateralized vaults, you could be redeemed against, but it's not the same thing as a liquidation, and it's not as bad. But there is the possibility that the price could be randomly pumping at that moment in time you were redeemed against. And then you're like, oh, I can't buy all those back again. But it's not your whole bag. The excess collateral is always yours. It's still there for you to claim.
From the user experience, though, it's like, in fact, if I were to imagine, okay, so, I'm gonna open up a vault, put this in, and then I think I have safe collateral, whatever, it gets redeemed, and now I'm like, oh, where'd my vault go? Okay, well, yeah, I have the collateral I took out, but at the same time, I just lost, 30%, 40%. Like that doesn't feel good to the user. Like, how can I trust this thing? It's not that the protocol, not that there's a bug or issue or anything, but that's the user experience maybe people have had with them before.
Yeah, because the chain pumped really, really fast. And there were some redemptions at the same period of time. Now, how do you avoid a redemption? Way number one, if this sort of thing scares you, do not have a vault. It's not as scary for the people that understand it. It's really not as scary as it sounds. But if it still scares you, don't go through crypto in fear. Just don't have a vault. There's plenty of TVL in the system. There's plenty of other opportunities to go purchase the stable coin and put it in the stability pool. Purchase the earned token, put them in the staking pool. You can do all sorts of things. You just won't be comfortable taking a loan. Okay. And that's perfectly acceptable. The other thing you can do is have your collateral health higher than, the lowest vaults, right? What does that mean though? Because if everybody's doing it, if that's how we go through life using this protocol, if I'm trying to be healthier than you, and then you're trying to be healthier than me, and then I go, oh, I'm trying to be healthier than you again, then everybody's just constantly getting healthier because they're trying to get away from something they fear, which is a redemption. But it's not actually solving the problem. It's not making anybody safer because everybody's moving up together, and the thing literally goes from the lowest collateralized vault up, regardless of where that point starts. Right. So you could call this cascading. It's not, it's like cascading, increasing health rates. And it's a little bit silly that everybody's doing that to each other and driving the health higher and higher and higher. And I think it's literally because people don't understand and they're scared of something that they don't necessarily need to be scared of. They need to understand the risks involved. But if it scares you, don't take a loan. And if we can get that through everybody's head, the system remains healthy, and we'll see collateral health around 300 or 400% and hovering around there all the time, and it's going to be great.
I think that's the key. Is and again, just to clarify, so your collateralization ratio can help you avoid getting liquidated or redeemed. Is that correct?
Correct. And the liquidation is much easy. It's really easy to manage your liquidation point. This thing literally we put in here where is liquidation price? Okay. If you have an open vault, it'll tell you the price that PulseX has to be for you to be liquidated. Okay. And you can easily tell, oh, I'm at 150% or I'm at 200%. I feel comfortable. And if you don't like it, you can add to, you can take away, so on and so forth. That's super easy to manage. What's hard to manage is somebody going to click the redeem button? And am I lower than everybody else? And am I going to have some of my debt paid off and some of my PulseX taken away proportionally to that? That's what's impossible for you to manage. That's the other side of the equation where somebody else has the ability to redeem.
Impossible for you to manage directly. Impossible for you to manage directly. But again, I'm trying to take the fear of, I want to take a loan. I feel like the words redemption and liquidation, they make sense. Like I've watched the videos, I did all this stuff, but then I see people in other protocols or otherwise getting liquidated. Maybe they have a higher collateral ratio, all this stuff going on with, I think Liquid Loans is making a bunch of changes and improvements and stuff there with that too. Mm-hmm. But just the whole thing of, okay, I understand it works that way, but I want to be able to use this and not have that happen. Is the key just to have a higher collateral ratio than everyone else? Like, is it just a race to
yes? If you have higher, yes, if you have higher collateralization level than everybody else, chances are you're not going to be redeemed. But caveat, every single stablecoin that's minted is able to be redeemed. Which means if everybody were to say, you know what, I don't like this protocol anymore, they could just unwind it by doing tons and like just redeeming every single stablecoin that was ever minted. Okay. Not that that's going to happen. Okay. We have, let's see, how much of the percent is in the stability pool? We have PXDC in the stability pool, 88.3% of the stablecoins in the stability pool. Those won't be used in this. Nobody's going to use those to run a redemption. It doesn't make sense because they'd have to withdraw from there. They're stopping earning any earn tokens. Then they run a redemption and get some PulseX. They pay a fee to do that, but now they're stuck with PulseX. Now they're going to sell that back for some more PXDC to try and go back into the stability pool. They're going to eat some slippage and a fee on whatever DEX they're using to try and get that PXDC to jump back into the stability pool. It just doesn't make sense. So that you can assume that most of that's going to always just stay in the stability pool. People may exit from time to time, but it's not like they're going to exit to go run a redemption. All right. Now, the other tokens in existence are what's on the liquidity pools. And we should have taken a look at it a minute ago, but just a rough guess, I don't know, 2 to 3 million stable coins in PXDC between in the pools in PulseX and then PHUX. Because we'll just go with like somewhere between 2 and 3 million stable coins. All right. So how many stable coins are liquid in people's wallets? We can look on chain, but let's just take a rough stab at 6% of them. The only redemptions that could ever occur would be, say, 6% of all the open debt. So you can kind of start to figure out, well, how many open vaults are there and how much PXDC is liquid in people's wallets? We'll say 6% or 8%. So let me put myself at least above, out of all the debt in existence, which is 22.5 million, I want to be at this collateral ratio to put myself over being able to be redeemed. Right now, we don't have a thing for that. We haven't built a thing so you can look at that. We may not. I have no idea. Okay, but you by knowing or taking some good guesses at what's liquid in people's wallets, and then thinking about the ratcheting fee as well to run a redemption, you can kind of place yourself in a level where you're not going to ever be redeemed. But if everybody's doing it, then nobody's doing it. Because it goes from the bottom up. So if you were to do that, and I'm below you, and I'm also doing that, so I go above you, and then you see what happens?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happened over at Liquid Loans, but it's literally because people don't understand this, or they're not running the numbers like I'm talking about.
Well, that's what I want to get into too, is how, again, I think they're making some improvements and stuff over there and otherwise, but people are probably asking, we see redemptions aren't even able yet for Power City, but how can people have faith that things are going to run smoothly with Power City, or is there differences or things that you all have looked at and learned from or had to change from looking at things?
So the biggest piece is this education piece that we just covered. All right. And understanding what a redemption actually does. Is it scary? Well, it can be if the price is running away. Right. The other piece is the Oracle price close to the spot price. That is a big deal. And you have to have those two prices close together. Otherwise, there's just always an arb opportunity that you don't want to have there. So we've put like what you've seen on Liquidity. Let me give an example of Liquidity. I think Liquidity uses 15-minute windows, right? And then they use Chainlink, and it uses like a weird hour thing too. But that's too long on PulseChain. It's too long of a time period on PulseChain. The gas prices are too low, which means the ARB opportunities are not being hindered by the gas. So every little price change of any token on chain, as long as you can make more money than the gas it costs, you can run a redemption. So literally a 15-minute report is too long. We've recognized this. We've poured over a ton of data. And what we've done is we've gotten our Oracle price really, really, really like within blocks, a handful of blocks of the spot price. Okay, so that takes care of normal market conditions. But again, anybody can come into the chain and do a market buy of like $14 million. And what does that do? Right? It drives the price up really, really quick. You don't necessarily see that same behavior on ETH. That behavior is cool for people who hold that token that just got pumped. But there can be like consequences of what if a redemption's run during that period of time and this guy just pumped the token a whole lot and I want to buy that back. Oh, but it pumped 40% and I wanted that. But remember, a redemption doesn't take your whole vault. All the excess collateral is still yours. It's not the same as a liquidation. So people do need to understand that.
It's like you get beat up, but you're not dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joking, but I imagine that's how a lot of people look at it too. They're like, I really don't want this thing to happen. How, that's why I'm keep driving home this point of like, okay, collateral ratio, that's that type of stuff too. But yeah, market forces. I mean, I mean, are you nervous for the 19th?
For the redemptions?
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see. I have a guess in my head what number may be used to redeem on day one. I mean, there's been some dips in the price of PXDC, especially with redemptions still being off. It's a little harder to maintain a peg when you can't do a redemption immediately. So there's likely been some people who have seen these dips and bought it, and they're waiting to do a redemption. I don't think it's a huge quantity. And proportional to the debt of $22.5 million, I think it's going to be just fine. I don't think anybody has anything to worry about. Yes, there will be redemptions. They're going to turn on. There's another side to this, y'all. There's a redemption fee. Who gets the fee? The stakers of the earn token. So if you're over there staking earn token now, you can see that you're collecting PXDC anytime somebody mints some. And starting on Tuesday, anytime a redemption is run, you're also going to be earning PulseX. So whatever you're making now, I can't say that it's going to like double. I don't think there's going to be equal amount of redemptions as there are mints. It's possible. There should be less, but that number's whatever you're making over there now in the staking pool is going to go up. And the core stakers over there, the Watt stakers in the core, they're also going to be collecting PulseX starting on Tuesday.
Well, let's get into that. I mean, I jest on the liquidation redemption. I just want to put that out there because I really think that's the piece that people are super concerned about. So I want to alleviate that and at least give people some information. But also this interface I was telling you in the green room, man. I've been playing around with it. Super easy to use. I know I don't have any vaults open, but if I did, you would see, be able to adjust or close or see how much you're earning for the stability pool and staking, all that stuff too. Really great job on just being able to, I know what these buttons do when I click them. I know how to adjust things. This is cool. PulseX went up. Cool. Now I can, if you're able to take more out and or do other things with and stuff too. People got PulseX. How would they use this protocol to make more money on their PulseX?
So you can click in here and you can click the vault area. You would approve the tokens and you would place some PulseX in the vault and tell it how many stable coins you'd like to mint. And it'll show you your collateral health, for whatever figures you put in there. And you can adjust the numbers to put yourself at a collateral health you like. All right. Once you confirm that transaction, you'll notice you have PXDC in your wallet. What do you do with it now? Well, you can go spend it on a meme coin and hope you don't lose it all. Nobody would recommend that to you. You can go buy something else cool with it.
Yield arbitrage, Jesse. Yield arbitrage.
Or you can be smart and say, well, the thing that I like is already the PulseX that I just locked in the vault. Let me not like leverage myself into buying like some meme coins where I could lose it all, right? Let me just keep the PulseX locked in there. That's the speculative play that I like, and put this stable coin to work for me. And you can come in the stability pool and you can deposit your stable coins. When you do that, there's an emission right now. There's 31.4 million earn tokens left in this pool. Those things are emitting out at a decreasing rate forever. And the rate is like on a halving. So every year, half of what it was 365 days earlier, but it just slows down every single block. So right now it's emitting at the most. So sitting in there with stablecoins earns you those earn tokens by just parking them in the stability pool. Now, the purpose of the stability pool is to absorb any liquidations that might occur. What would happen if there's a liquidation is proportional to everybody in this pool. You're going to accumulate some PulseX, and your stablecoins are going to burn. Not all of them, because it like uses everybody in here to pay the debt. But some stablecoins will burn, and you'll pick up PulseX in its place at a 10% discount off the market price. So you actually are accumulating more value with a PulseX than the stablecoins that are minted. Some people like to immediately pull those out and go sell them back for more stablecoins and lock in that it's really a 9.5% profit immediately. Other people are happy to use that as a method to accumulate discounted PulseX. The choice is yours. It's your PulseX. It's your stablecoins in here. Do whatever you want with them. And it's your earn tokens that you're earning. What do you do with those earn tokens? You have to have earn tokens staked to earn the fees. Anytime somebody mints some stablecoins, there's a 0.5% and it ratchets up, actually. It could be as high as 5% at any given point. But typically it hovers around 0.5% borrowing fee. So when somebody mints some stablecoins, the fee for that, the PXDC, goes to the stakers of the earn tokens in that third block down there. Okay. Also, there's a fee to run redemptions. So that if there's any redemptions, if you're staking earn tokens, there's also the fees for that flow to the stakers of the earn token down in that third box down there. Okay. So it's kind of cool because you can stability provide and earn some earn tokens, earn some PulseX. You can take those earn tokens, put them in the staking pool, and you can earn the fees. And all of this is like a self-supporting ecosystem, and it's all over collateralized. You're just there supporting the system, earning the fees.